Guys, after subscribing to this channel, please make sure that you also press the bell icon so that no notification, no new video of mine, any educational video, is missed by anybody.
Next question is this. Okay. Now, this is a specific topic of RCOG, believe me. A lot is said on this particular topic in RCOG. They have talk articles as well. But you just answer this question, I'll let you know more. Very good. Great. If you could catch this, then it's very good. See, it's a 25-year-old para 1. Just 5 days ago, she had a normal delivery. And she's feeling tearful, anxious about the baby's health. And she's a little overwhelmed. Now, this, to be clubbed as a postpartum depression, will not be correct. Most common condition of this type is actually postpartum blues. Have you heard about this condition, everyone? Yeah. Postpartum blues, postpartum depression. Something more severe than postpartum blues is postpartum depression. So you actually start with postpartum blues, and mostly, almost they say around 70% patients have postpartum blues. So this is what the idea is. Write down the most probable diagnosis. It's postpartum blues. The differentials will be postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis. These are two dreaded conditions of delivery. I mean postpartum. One is postpartum psychosis. One is postpartum depression. Okay. Write the name of any two screening tools in this condition. So one is Edinburgh postnatal depression scale, which is very, very common and known there. And one is patient health questionnaire. Again, there are many multiple kinds of scales. Edinburgh postnatal depression scale is also multiple varieties. Okay, it's got lots of variations, and so is the patient health questionnaire. So patient health questionnaire, special number 9, is dedicated to postnatal depression score, anxiety score, and that differentiates between postpartum blues, depression, psychosis, or whatever, neurosis. How will you manage the above patient? So mostly by reassurance and support, because this is not a major condition. This is just by reassurance and support. It's a self-limiting condition, usually resolves in 1 to 2 weeks. You can give her emotional support. You can give her adequate rest and sleep, and a close follow-up. Okay, that's what you're going to do. Referring to the psychiatrist will only and only be when she's having, this condition is not resolving on its own. Okay, then you will do it. Emotional support, adequate rest and sleep, and close follow-up is mostly going to help. Otherwise, referring to the psychiatrist will only be for persistent symptoms. Agreed, everyone? Any questions, everyone? Any questions about anyone? If you've got any problems, if you feel that answer is could have been different, I would love to know that. Okay? These are again solved by one of my ex-students, let me tell you that. So I'm very, very proud to now announce that my ex-students are now helping me out in this journey forward, because I'm concentrating on building something else, which you will get to know very soon. And my ex-students are helping me out a lot in developing the other parts and the parallel courses. So again, thanks everyone for this lovely energy and for this support that I'm getting from you. All right, I'm beginning the next question now. Anshika, just let me know whether this was the question. I mean, I have made it this way. We didn't have time actually to go around asking, so we got this hint from somewhere, and then okay, this was not on 16th. Maybe Anita would know it. If this was implant only, then let me know. If it was anything else, we presumed it has to be implant because now it's like more in vogue, and lots of government sectors are now putting implant in the OPD, including Anita's place. So let me know if this was or anything else was asked. Okay, great. Then I'm sure. That was, at least it was an implant. That's all I wanted to know. Yes, guys. Are we ready to discuss? You one more time? Yeah, sure. Don't worry about that. No problem. I understand. Actually, all of them, whichever they discussed with me, none of them we discussed the source. So don't worry. Okay. All right, guys. Now let's discuss about these answers because it's a very, very easy question. The mode of contraception, you all know, it's implant and it's an LARC, long-acting. Reversible contraception. Mechanism of action, please, guys. It inhibits the ovulation, increases the it increases thickening of the cervical mucus, which is obviously always the mode of mechanism for all the POPs, decreases the tubal motility, and causes the endometrium out of phase. That means it decreases the implantation rate basically by causing it more secretory than it is proliferative. So this is the mode of action and the method. Advantages and disadvantages. Come on. Advantages: very, very, very effective, very low fertility rate, long acting, and reversible. Convenient. You don't have to pop a pill every day. You don't have to remember it every day. Compliance is excellent. And it's not estrogenic. So again, the advantages and disadvantages of estrogen component are all bypassed. Disadvantages, obviously, you have to go to a center, requires some expertise, may result in irregular spotting bleeding, which is the obvious answer for all POPs. And it has got no protection against STDs. So these are the disadvantages. Complications could be pain, bruising, infection at the site, deep insertion, migration of the implant, allergic reaction to the implant material. This is a possibility. How long is it effective? Well, it's effective. Some get effective for 3 years. Some are effective up to 5 years. So mostly it's between Nexplanon is usually 3 years. Jadel is for 5 years. And the failure rate is very, very low. It's 0.05% per year. That low. Okay. All right. And with this, I think these were the only 4 questions asked. I'm going to the next because it's, I think, very, very, straightforward. There was nothing exceptional in this question. Here's the next question. That's very, very helpful, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much for everyone who's sharing their OSCEs with me because that will really help us out for the next, upcoming sessions. And you will be benefited, everyone. Okay. So thank you so much for everyone sharing it with us because then we'll be in a better position to handle your further OSCEs, right? Keep sharing, guys. Keep sharing because we'll sort it out into the ones on 16th and 17th, and then, there's a whole list of bunch of things to come. So you have 16-20 OSCEs, 17-20 OSCEs, and I have more classes to conduct them. Probably right before the practicals, I'll have to take a class with proper 20 OSCEs to give you an exam practice. Maybe we can take one of your exam OSCEs then. Just keep it going, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, you can send it on this number, guys. Everyone who has a backup of OSCEs, please just send it on this. Thank you, Beta. Thank you so much. That's always my endeavor. That's always what I want. I want people. Now you see there are so many other groups which have come with a similar set of, announcements as I have. If I announce OSCE, they do. If I announce last minute blitz, they announce last minute blitz. So it's fine. I understand. Inspiration is great. But, always go for understanding the quality as compared to, the glamour. So there are people who catch different mentors and make them do this thing, but the spirit is very different. The spirit of teaching is very different when you're made to teach and when you really want to teach. So just go for the ones which you feel is helping you out. Okay. And in the meanwhile, I'll try to make this OSCE as well. All right, guys. So let's discuss now. 35-year-old multiparous woman presented with amenorrhea, 7 years, experiencing hot flush, night sweats, and moderate. I think you already know where she's going. What's the probable diagnosis? Either it is premature menopause, or you can just call it premature ovarian insufficiency or premature ovarian failure. How will you investigate and how will you establish the diagnosis? Mostly serum FSH more than 25 is sufficient as per RCOG. In certain books, it's written 40. On 2 occasions at least, 4 to 6 weeks apart. Okay, you can go by 25, you can go by 40 as well. Okay. What treatment would you like to start until what age? So the treatment has to be HRT given to be at least up to the natural age of menopause. That means around 50 years as per RCOG. So you will give estrogen, progesterone if the uterus is present. Okay. And just estrogen alone can be given if there is no uterus. Correct? Name 4 contraindications. Well, any history of breast carcinoma, history of endometrial carcinoma, undiagnosed vaginal bleeding, active thromboembolic diseases. All these are indications for contraindications for giving HRT. You can't give and you should not give. Active thromboembolic episodes, active liver disease. These are actually relatively relative contraindications. But this history of breast carcinoma, undiagnosed vaginal bleed, these are all absolute contraindications for giving HRT. Actually, HRT is such low dose that you can give it with anything and everyone. But there are certain absolute contraindications and definitely certain relative ones. These are relative ones. When it comes from active thromboembolic disease, active liver, active thromboembolic disease, you can give progesterone alone. Active liver disease, again, be guarded because the dose is so less. And known cardiovascular events, that also you can give, but you have to give it like, bypassing the systemic circulation. You can give it as a local estrogens, local progesterones, patches, gels, and not pills. That at least you can do. Now, any questions so far in this, guys? Now, there's one more. How will you monitor the patient who's on this treatment? Well, they'll have regular follow-up visits. You'll do breast examination, mammography, pelvic ultrasound for especially monitoring the endometrial thickness, blood pressure, LFT checks, that means liver function test, lipid profile check, bone marrow, blood sugar investigation, your BMD, that is bone marrow density scan. Okay, these are the ways in which you will monitor patient on treatment of HRT. I have not written LFT check. So LFT checks, blood sugar investigations, and BMD.